Mr. Zion on the beat.
There are societal factors that impeded women's representation. They include cultural or religious norms, like she spoke about in the West and North. Religious norms, cultural norms surrounding marriage, indigenship, a concept that recognizes that only ethnic groups active to a particular state. I'm sure you know what that means. Some years ago, when a certain female wanted to vie for Senate in Enugu State, but she's not married in this state, Enugu State, somebody who is educated or very educated called me aside and said, look at this girl, that she's from Anambra, she wants to come and vie for a position in Enugu State. But she's married in Enugu. She has children in Enugu. She's been living here for so many years. And yet, this man is thinking of her as a non-indigenous, somebody who came from somewhere else. You know, these are things that we should disabuse our minds from. If someone is capable, let us give that person a chance to work. It doesn't matter where that person comes from. You know, I mean, it's like the issue going on in Ife with the election of a new vice chancellor. The person who was elected is a Yoruba person. He scored highest. And then these other professors are fighting that because he's not from Ile-Ife, that he will not be. And then, you know, one Professor Gejo was sharing about himself. He said his father was a pioneer staff in Unife. He grew up there, went to secondary school there, went to university there, and has been in the university since then teaching. He's now a professor. But he told himself not to even vie for the post of vice chancellor, because he knows what will come out of it. So he was making reference to this person who is a Yoruba person, but not from Ife, who now got the post. And educated people, academics, are complaining. You know, that's the problem that we have in Nigeria. It is the problem also that women experience. These are some of the issues. There are communities, traditional rulers councils, and even town unions, where women are not members at all. So these are some of the issues. It's not that women are not capable, but it's just that discrimination. You know, because they are women, nobody wants to hear their voices. Nobody wants to give them a chance. You know, these are things that need to change in our society. To get more women into leadership, not be very successful. Why? Policies, protocols, quota systems, or affirmative action are rooted in compensatory justice, compensating people who have been marginalized. Women have been marginalized, people with disabilities have been marginalized. So we need to support these groups of people, especially women, so that they can get into leadership. And we will benefit what is available to us. They have their own contributions to make. Some countries like Rwanda and South Africa have used quota system to pave the way for women representation in politics. In Rwanda, over 50% of political positions are held by women. So affirmative action also promotes diversity and increases opportunities for a disadvantaged group like women. That's why we went asking for special bills to create space for women. And you saw what happened. I mean, the bills were shut down. And then the structures that portray women as subordinate to men. People keep imagining that women are, you know, subordinate to men. Even when you see that they do great things, that they do things better, or they can do as well as the man, nobody wants to give them a chance. You know, it's a problem that, you know, we have to handle. Even educated women face hindrances. The women encounter gender stereotypes that assign leadership to men. Sexual assault and unpaid labor, including childcare and housework, placing them at a disadvantage. These are some of the issues that keep women down. There is also lack of political will and effective government action. You know, what I see in some states is lack of political will. Because during this local government, just concluded local government election, which the elected ones have been sworn in. Some people also went to talk with the governor, spoke with the woman leader, and the story that was coming out was that some women didn't want some women to go. That's why there's no woman. But I don't think it's enough. I just see that there's lack of political will. You know, they don't really want to give women a chance. And then there isn't effective government action. Because there are educated women in any state. There are women who are capable. There are women who can lead. There are women who can do things well. But they are not given a chance. So there's lack of political will. The media give poor coverage to female candidates. Is it true? The journalists follow Onyechi and go why Onyechi like that. So it's not like the coverage that men get. You know what I mean? So our discussions today will be around what we can do to help give women visibility in the media. You know, there are ways to do it that may not cost money. Then, women candidates are subjected to gender-related electoral violence. We remember what happened in Benue State, Kogi State, sorry. We remember what happened in Kogi State during the other election that the woman leader was burned to death. I mean, it's just violence. And we all know that it was done just because she's a woman. So these are the things used to scare women and keep them away from politics. Threats and hate speech because of the perception that women want to get what is traditionally men's. You know, some men keep imagining that leadership is their own thing, that they own it, that the women shouldn't come near, you know. So these are the issues that, you know, we need to look at carefully. But why is women's participation and representation important? At least in Nigeria, we know that about half of the population are women, and their participation will create a balance of power between genders. We have some men, we have some women. It will help us because you cannot leave half of your population out of leadership. You must get their own side of the story. You must listen to them. You must hear from them to know what they think and what they feel, so that the society and the government will take care of them. And recently, we know that this is an indicator of development in any society, where men and women partner in the work of nation building. There is a rise in the world over of the number of women serving elected and appointed into political positions. But this is not yet the case in Nigeria. I think that you should not allow the women to come up. I'm pointed at some women in the House of Representatives like Bukeje and Onyagocha. You know, they feel that these women, that they know too much. If you give them more power, that they will, you know, scale up and take over. So it's unnecessary fear. We're all coming out to work. The way the men will work is the way the women will work. And we're all adults here. See what's going on in Nigeria. The men have been in power for so long. And where are we now? Are we doing as well as we should do? Why don't we include women to see whether there will be a difference? Let's just give them a chance. And the full and equitable participation of women in public life is essential to building a sustainable, strong, vibrant democracy. When women are not participating, it is less likely that policies will benefit them. Women need to participate to bring attention to issues that uniquely affect them and to change attitudes towards gender. Now, looking at this, assuming that there's a discussion on a table on issues concerning women and health, what can a man say about menstrual hygiene or menstrual hygiene management? He'll be saying, my wife said, my daughter said, my sister said. But if a woman is on the table, she will talk from experience. She will say it as it has affected her. And this will now be included in the policy to be developed. So this is the reason why we think that women, females, should be supported and included in leadership and governance and supported to participate in politics. Training is crucial. So WEPBI has set up a leadership academy, where women are trained in preparation for politics. She's catching the older ones, she's also catching the younger ones, so that they learn from scratch how to get into politics. Even at the student union level, from student union, because that's how it starts, that's where it starts. You learn from the ropes, you learn how to hold the microphone, you learn how to make speeches, and then from there you will grow into bigger positions, bigger spaces, and then when you get into politics, you are able to speak during campaigns. I'm sure you know public speaking is not very easy. These are things you need to learn, and WEPBI is trying to groom the women to come up so that they will learn how to proceed from there. Women need training in fundamental politics, and WEPBI has an academy. I've said that. Female politicians need to understand grassroots politics and start from there. When people are unknown at the grassroots level, they are not successful. Because when we talk about politicians, we say this one is a grassroots person, this one is a grassroots man, because he reaches the grassroots, he gets to the people, he talks to the people at home. So it's very important that we create that space for women to learn. And then another way is networking and mentoring. At various levels, mentoring is going on. Members of the Women's Voice and Leadership Project, supported by Global Affairs Canada in partnership with ActionAid, we learn to work together. We learn to network, learn from each other. We also belong to the larger body, the Womanifesto. That's the team that has been going to the National Assembly to speak about the bills that were rejected, the group that has been sitting there. We're also members. And in that very large forum of over 500 organizations and individual women, we learn, we share things in that group, and we learn things from ourselves. We take up individual mentors, and we mentor ourselves, and we guide young people. Women need to see that politics is not that dirty, because every time we think politics is a dirty game, even at union level, some of the things that come up, some of the behaviors that we see, some people just run away. But we need to see and learn that it is not so dirty. Offer yourself for service. You'll be able to see and join in ensuring that things go better than they are currently going. Then legislative changes are needed, and that is where affirmative action comes in. I'm sure recently we all are aware the National Assembly rejected 5 bills that could promote more opportunities for women in political parties, governance, and society. Let's look at the bills. Very harmless bills, and yet they were shut down because there are more men than women. But these people forget that they have daughters, they have wives, they have sisters. Indeed, I understand that in Delta State, for this 2023 election, Ibori's daughter wants to go to House of Assembly. Udora's daughter wants to go to House of Reps. And the Okowa's daughter also wants to go to House of Assembly. And yet, the people in the National Assembly have shut down the spaces that we are trying to create for these women. And then in Anambra State, my brother Seludo, as we hear, I'm not quite sure, has shut down the office of the First Lady. Yes. Why? Because it's a space for women to even talk. It creates space for us. It provides opportunity for employment for women and men. It also creates the space for them to do good. But if you shut it down, we'll be losing. These are little spaces available for us to use to talk and show our heads and talk about issues in the society. You can see what happened when we were, campaigning for these bills. On a certain day, the wife of the president joined. The Minister of Women Affairs joined. This shows that we're all interested in it. And then, on another day, the wife of the vice president, and then women in business, they all joined. So many groups of women joined. And then, when the sitting at the National Assembly started, several women have been contributing, supporting them. They are not doing this on their own. There are groups that are supporting. Winnet has sent some money for water and lunch. So have other groups too. Because we understand that this is critical for us. And we need to work hard to ensure that we have this. A bill to provide special seats for women at the National Assembly. What is wrong with that? Since the ones there, they are not allowing us to come in there. We say, okay, create some spaces for us. Affirmative action for women in political party administration. Recall that not too long ago, when APC or PDP was preparing for their convention, Inachi Roma, the former Minister of Women Affairs, wanted to fight for the post of Deputy Vice Chair. And she was told to step down for a man. And she respectfully agreed. But why is this so? You know, I thought they would have given her a chance to even vie, so that we will see who wins. If she wins, fine. But she was told to step down. And when your party tells you to do something and you refuse, it is termed insubordination, number one, or that you are not loyal to the party. And everyone wants to kind of fall in line. So when she was told to step down, she stepped down. And a bill to grant citizenship to foreign-born husbands of Nigerian women, Nigerian women, please disregard the A there. Already, a Nigerian man's foreign-born wife is automatically a Nigerian citizen. Then I imagine you go and marry, foreign men, and you refuse that they will be citizens. And a bill that sought to allocate 35% of political positions based on appointments to women and creation of additional 111 seats in the National Assembly, as well as the state constituent assemblies. And then finally, the bill for inclusion of at least 10% affirmative action in favor of women in ministerial appointments. When we have presidents, they make promises. We will include women, we will include women. But we also see that they give us token. It's just tokenism. You will see 30 ministers, and maybe only 5 or 4 will be women. We just feel that it's not fair, that we deserve better, that we can do things better than some men. But it's just for them to recognize that we are hardworking and give us that chance. Let's try the women. Let's include them. How can the problem be solved? Financial support is crucial. Very crucial indeed in Nigerian politics. Very, very crucial. So much money is spent in campaign. Even the executive billboard that I'm doing, I've seen in several places. The campaign is just about starting. And I'm seeing one billboard of one person, but in several places. Ikoha is coming. You can't prelude. It hasn't started though, because there will be billboards. And you know how much billboards cost. And when you put up a billboard, it stays for like 6 months. And you pay sometimes more than $500,000 naira. Which woman will have, that kind of money? So these are the issues. Some women do not have the financial muscle to scale through. Women need financial support that will not impede on their rights to participate or vie for elective positions. She wants to vie. She knows she can do it. But the impediment is money, lack of money. Because somebody has been in the Senate for 16 years, some 12 years, 20 years, and over the years they have made so much money. But many of the women have not had that chance. When a woman goes once, at the next time, there's a gang up and she's not able to go back. So these are some of the things, we are seeing. The media must change their attitude towards political coverage of women. Sometimes they project women in ways that are not relevant to leadership, politics, or election. Sometimes when you read a headline in the newspaper, you'll be wondering, or online or anywhere, you'll be wondering where this kind of headline has come from. The aim is just to shoot the woman in the foot or to bring her down. But sometimes when men do those things, nobody remembers. But a woman is shut down so that she will not come up. I remember there was a time, one man, his photo was circulating in the media. One man from Delta State, the chairman of PDP in Delta also. His naked body was just circulating on social media. They said he went to see somebody, and when he finished, he refused to pay. I think we all adults here. And the girl shot his photo and was circulating it all over the world. And And he's still there. He's still the party chairman and a key party official in Delta State. But if it was a woman, of course, no way. You can't do anything again. These are some of the things that we need to do better. The media should provide a platform for women to share and air their views on some of the issues impeding their advancement in representation in governance. She said that there are multiple factors. Some are related to political party systems and structures. For instance, the high cost of politics prevents women from standing for elective offices. At this time, we've been reading, we've been listening. PDP says if you want to express your interest for the office of president, you have to pay 40 million naira. Am I right? That's what they said. How many women will be able to just bring out 40 million naira, knowing that women have been in politics, but they've not really been in the mainstream where they are able to make as much money as the men have made? Then, apart from that high cost of politics that prevents women from standing for elective positions, there are other issues. Women do not have money for mandatory expression of interest and nomination forms required by the political parties. In addition, election campaign costs are very exorbitant. It's too much money. These are things that we need to work on in Nigeria. And then poor access to education means poor access to gainful employment, unpaid labor burdens, women at home, keeping their home, taking care of their children, doing school runs. These are unpaid work that if they were to earn salary from it, it will enhance their pockets to be able to do some things for themselves. And then outright discrimination also means that women are less likely to be able to afford to follow them. You know what terrorism is doing now? We are not sure what is really going on, but people are being terrorized in various ways. And with this kind of system, women will be afraid to come out. And that is the aim of these activities. Some person that you're vying for elective office with will just arrange for people to come and you and terrorize you. And you are calm down. So the female politician has a number of challenges concerning visibility, concerning finance, but we know that the media sets the agenda. And when the media packages you well, it's in your favor. But when they decide to pull you down, you're done. So that is why we have come to the media to ask them to support female politicians, to develop action points of what they can do to support women in politics. So thank you for your attention. And this is where the dialogue begins. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you think. How do you think we can help women to have visibility in the media?
Purchase your tracks today.
Mr. Zion on the beat.